Okay, crash out over, we're locked in. For all my millennials out there, she feels like the complete opposite of a Catholic nun. Dinosaurs aren't alive anymore. Do I like it because my dad is also dead? I'm not a Disney adult. They had a million opportunities to eat the soul of a child. Am I the only one who likes this animation? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I just finished watching the newest episode of Heated Rivalry. Do I have that post-Heated Rivalry glow? We are back again 1 year later to tier rank every single movie that I watched in 2025. Now, I'm gonna be so honest, this was a really weird year. Weird, bad, you know, you were here. Last year for me was like a great movie year. I was seeing things in theaters, I saw a bunch of new releases, and in total it was like over 60 movies. This year we have 45. Majority of them I watched at home, not in a theater. Yeah. Why is the number so low? Well, because while I may have only watched 45 movies, probably about 10 of these movies I watched at least 3 times. You guys aren't gonna believe me because I feel like I always talk about the shows and movies that I rewatch. But up until a couple years ago, I never rewatched anything. For the longest time, La La Land was my favorite movie. I'd only seen it once. That was good enough for me. I never rewatched anything. And now that's like all that I do. Don't worry, I cycled through my rewatches, so things on this list weren't on the list last year. New Year's resolution is to go see movies in theaters, I guess. If you're new here, you might be wondering, how are you going to rank these? Like, what's your criteria? Well, my criteria is that while I did go to film school, and so I have that perspective when it comes to the cinematography, the acting, the writing, things like that, I am a mood watcher. At the end of the day, it could objectively be a bad movie, but if I had fun watching it and enjoyed it, it's gonna be ranked high. Okay, now that you know my judging criteria, let's go through the tiers. For S tier, we have changed my brain chemistry. Watching this made me a new person. I'm the type of person where if I watch something that I really love and I'm obsessed with it, I make that my whole personality. I am daydreaming that I'm part of the world. I am trying to emulate my favorite characters and all that totally normal, non-obsessive stuff. A tier, couldn't look away. While I was watching, I was locked in. I couldn't think about anything else. My mind wasn't drifting away. I was solely into this movie. And that's how you know it's a good movie. Our middle tier, solid night in. This wasn't the best movie. It wasn't the worst movie, but I still enjoyed it. For one night and one night only, it was a great experience. Our next tier is background noise. Boring. I really try to give movies my full attention as much as possible, but if it's just not hitting, I will get on my phone, I'll get up and start laundry, I'll play with my cat. I don't know, I'm just it's background noise. And then our lowest category, I want my memory wiped. Pretty self-explanatory. I said this last year, but I don't know if any movies are gonna be that low because oh, wait. I just saw one that is going to be that low. Yeah, these are in no particular order. Let's just get started. Okay, first movie is Alien Romulus. I'm gonna put this in solid night in. I had a thing this summer, I think, where I wanted to watch all of the Alien movies because I never had. And I think I just watched the original Alien movie and then the newest, which was Alien Romulus. This was really, really scary. Again, I wasn't a diehard Alien fan or anything. I watched the original one right before watching this one. I did feel compared to the original, this one held up. It didn't feel like a cheap remake. I feel like it definitely expanded the world and kind of kept the same vibe. I wouldn't watch again. I actually tried to forget it immediately after watching because I am not a horror movie person. I just really liked a lot of the cast in this, and so I wanted to know what was up and I wanted to watch it, but yeah, scary. Okay, coincidentally, the next movie is the first Alien. This is going in couldn't look away, which is a little surprising to me because I don't like horror movies. However, where Alien Romulus was very graphic, Because with CGI, they can show you everything happening, and they will show you every injury and every death and every disgusting, gross moment. Well, back when Alien was made, they had to do practical effects. And I'm able to separate practical effects more from real life than I am CGI. Alien was more suspenseful, I would say. For a lot of the time, you don't know what's going on, and it's just kind of a build up to then like a big violent fight. But yeah. Okay, next movie is Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. I couldn't look away. I grew up watching the Mattel Barbie animated movies. I love them. They are really nostalgic for me, but I also feel like they hold up. I feel like they have solid stories, solid animation, solid music. Definitely holds up. I could not look away. Okay, next movie, Christmas Inheritance. This is couldn't look away. I keep talking about this movie in all my Christmas themed videos because I truly think it is an amazing Christmas rom-com. I think the acting is great. I think the story is great. It's so cute and sweet, and I feel like it is realistic compared to some other Christmas rom-coms. And is it strange to put a Christmas rom-com in A tier when we're ranking movies from the entire year? Maybe for you, but not for me. Okay, next movie was Clue. I'm gonna put Clue in solid night in. I actually did a reaction to this on my channel. I think about 20 people watched it, which is totally fine because I enjoyed watching it. It is the original movie based on the Clue board game. I thought it was really fun. The ending, spoiler alert for this super old movie, there are multiple endings. They go through two possibilities of what could have happened, and then they tell you what actually happened, which I thought was so fun. I've never seen a movie do that before, but it makes sense that it would be Clue because it's based on a board game, and because, every time you play the board game, it would be someone different in a different location with a different weapon. So I thought that was a fun little nod to the board game. I'm not dying to rewatch it. I didn't really think about it for months after, but it was a solid night in when I was watching. Okay, next is Barbie Fairytopia. Guys, I always do this. I'm looking at Fairytopia. I watched Fairytopia, Mermaidia, and Mariposa. They're not on this list. I go off of what I logged on Letterboxd, but sometimes I watch a movie and then I don't log it. Great. And I thought I was so thorough this year. After last year's mishap of missing so many movies, I tried to be so thorough with my logging this year, but I guess I still missed some. Okay, well, here's the deal. Barbie Fairytopia, I would put in solid night in. But if we're talking Mermaidia is at least couldn't look away, but probably changed my brain chemistry. And same with Mariposa. They're both so good. I also watched Barbie Rapunzel. That's not on this list either. My New Year's resolution is not only going to be to watch movies in theaters, but also to log everything that I watched. I hope my general sentiment towards the animated Barbie movies reaches through the screen to you. Fairytopia is good, but I like some of the other fairy movies better. I also watched Barbie Island Princess. You won't see that on this list. Well, hey, I guess that's good news. I actually did watch more movies than I thought. Okay, crash out over, we're locked in. Next movie, The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm just gonna do it. I wasn't sure, but I'm just gonna go with my gut. Changed my brain chemistry. I feel like every fangirl/reader growing up had their favorite YA thing. For me, it was The Hunger Games. I read all of the books. I went to every movie premiere at my local theater. I had the t-shirts. I had a Mockingjay pin. I had an account on a role-playing RPG website where everyone had their own tribute and you could be reaped into the Hunger Games and then, had to fight to be the victor. I never got reaped. I was just chilling in like probably District 8 or something. I don't know, something random. This movie was really good. I, of course, read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes book when it came out. Then the movie came out. I saw it twice. I really, really loved it. I thought they did such a good job. We follow President Snow when he's in school and young. Tom Blythe plays President Snow. He did amazing. He was White Boy of the Month that month. He's about to be it again when People We Meet on Vacation comes out in February, and Rachel Zegler stars alongside him as Lucy Graybeard, and she was truly the perfect pick for this role. It's very music heavy. She is a singer. Her family are traveling musicians. She has a song for every situation she's in, and I thought they did such a good job bringing the songs to life. I am so excited for Haymitch's movie to come out. That book is insane. This book gave us like some new context. It was very interesting to be in President Snow's mind, but Haymitch's book changed everything. And for the people who don't read the books, I'm so excited to see their reactions to the movie. It's gonna be crazy. Next, for all my millennials out there, this was the YA thing that you were obsessed with, Harry Potter. Guys, I think Harry Potter did change my brain chemistry. Like, this first one, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I've watched that so many times this year. It's become kind of bad. In the fall and the winter, usually on Saturday mornings, I like to put on a little movie while I start my chores. It just keeps being the first Harry Potter movie. It just keeps showing up on my screen. It's crazy. How does that happen? This movie never gets old. Based on the Harry Potter books, obviously. I am unsure how to feel about the series that's coming out because on one hand, yes, the movies are very different from the books. And I do hate how dirty they did Mr. Ron Weasley in the movies compared to the books. That would be a wrong that could be righted in the series. However, I love the vibes of the first and second movies, especially when things are just lighthearted and cozy and so fun and magical. Change my brain chemistry. Okay, next up on this list is Flow. I think Flow also changed my brain chemistry. I mean, I did just adopt a black cat. Coincidence? I don't know. I also reacted to this movie on here. It is an animated movie that follows a group of animals in this dystopian world as a flood comes and they have to navigate and try to survive. The first time I watched this, I was like crashing out. It was such an emotional roller coaster. I cried so much. I was so stressed out the entire time. When animals are involved, I take that really seriously. I don't like to see animals be hurt or be sad or just have any sort of difficulty in their life. Animals are the purest thing ever. I just want them to be happy. And this movie was just full of trials and tribulations for our animals. But obviously, now that I know what happens, when I rewatch it, I can focus more on the beautiful animation, the beautiful music, and it's not as crazy of an experience. Speaking of the black cat, Jasper, what are you doing? Okay, next movie is Sister Act. Honestly, I'm putting it in solid night in. It was a solid night in. One day, I decided to turn on the TV to go through all of the cable channels and stop on the movie channel. Just see what was playing. I was having a bit of decision fatigue, I think is what it's called, where when you have almost every movie at your fingertips, how on earth do you decide which one you're going to watch? Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just scroll through all of the streaming platforms while you're eating, and then you finished eating and you're like, all right, well, I guess I should just go scroll on TikTok. So instead, I thought, I'm going to live life on the edge. Whatever movie's playing on TV, that's the movie that I'm going to watch. And that movie was, of course, Sister Act. This movie was different a little bit than I remembered it as a kid, but like so good. I remember watching this a lot growing up, and it's just fun. We follow Whoopi Goldberg, who is, the movie started like a little bit in. I didn't get to start it at the beginning, but I'm pretty sure she's a singer at some sort of like nightclub. She's dating this like mafia guy, I think. He has like guys below him to like take out his enemies. Oh, he commits a crime, and I think the police convince her to testify against him. And so she has to go into like the witness protection program until his trial comes around and she can testify, I think. So the police are trying to figure out where to hide her. They decide to hide her in a nunnery. They decide to throw her in with a bunch of Catholic nuns. She feels like the complete opposite of a Catholic nun. What's she gonna have in common with them? Music. Music brings everyone together. They're singing boring church songs. She revamps the group. She gives it a modern spin. And of course, there's like hijinks because it's a movie. You know, there's a plot, but let's say that's the premise. Okay, next movie, Spirited Away. Changed my brain chemistry. I love Spirited Away, one of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies. There are 4 Studio Ghibli movies that I just rotate through when I need comfort. They're the ultimate peaceful comfort movies. Spirited Away follows a girl, Chihiro. She gets trapped working in this bathhouse for spirits. And it's her journey of gaining confidence in herself while also getting herself out of the bathhouse. And the friends she makes along the way. Great animation, great music, great story. It's Hayao Miyazaki. It's great. Next movie is the first Jurassic Park. This actually does have to go and change my brain chemistry because this movie made me want to become a paleontologist. And I'm not a paleontologist. Remember, I went to school for film. But in high school, when we had to write a paper about our future career, my family's computer was in my parents' room. So I'm sitting at the computer trying to figure out what to write my paper on. What is playing on my parents' TV, on cable television, on the movie channel? Jurassic Park. It was a sign. And I was so into it. And I was like, this is so cool. And also I love dinosaurs. Like, growing up, I was really into lizards and snakes and dinosaurs. Paleontology seemed like a perfect fit. Of course, I later found out through my research that dinosaurs aren't alive anymore, so paleontology is just digging all day, which honestly, sometimes I think back and I regret not pursuing that because doesn't that sound fun? Digging around in the ground all day and discovering things that no human has ever found. That sounds so cool. Oh my gosh. I need a career change. What's your favorite dinosaur? I keep seeing TikToks where people are like, if you're on a first date with someone, ask them what their favorite dinosaur is, and that will tell you a lot about them. I think it's mainly if they don't have a favorite dinosaur, red flag. I'll tell you mine. I love the long neck dinosaurs because of Land Before Time, but I think truly if I look inward, I really like stegosauruses. I don't know, something about them. They seem really nice and kind. We're only through 12 movies and I've been filming for 41 minutes. I need to stop talking so much. Okay, next movie, Gotta Kick It Up. Background noise. I watched it when I was dog sitting because the family I dog sit for only has Disney Plus. So I was looking for things to watch and I saw Gotta Kick It Up, which I watched as a child, and I watched it again. And tell me why, as a kid, I thought these girls were in high school. They're cheerleaders, but also there's this whole subplot with the main girl and her boyfriend. And the thing is, her boyfriend dropped out of school and he has a car and he can drive. And the main girl, her whole thing is kind of deciding if she wants to apply to this prestigious dance school. So as a kid, I thought, oh, they're in high school because high school is what you can drop out of. And high school is when you can drive and have a car. And high school is when you choose where you want to go to college and what you want to study. They're in middle school. She's applying to an arts dancing high school. Her boyfriend dropped out of middle school and can somehow drive. Oh my God, I'm on the parent side. I'm literally on the parent side because what do you mean? That makes no sense. Why wouldn't they just make them high schoolers? I'm sure that the actors were high school aged when they filmed this. Oh, it's crazy. Next movie, Coraline. Changed my brain chemistry. Guys, if you're thinking that the S tier is really heavy, it's because I was just watching things that I knew I was gonna like this year. This year was so tough and sad. I needed to watch things that I knew were gonna make me feel better. Okay, don't judge me for that. Coraline's a great movie. Stop motion animation, spooky. We follow Coraline, who moves into this new house called the Pink Palace with her family. She finds a hidden door. It transports her to an alternate dimension where she meets her other mother and her other father, and life over there is really great and amazing. They cook her delicious food and she can go do fun things, and everything seems perfect, but of course everything is not what it seems. That's all I'm gonna say. Next movie, Onward. Couldn't look away. Guys, Onward gets a lot of hate. Onward was one of those movies released straight to Disney Plus during the pandemic. It's also crazy because that's when you had to pay to watch a movie on Disney Plus. This movie gets a lot of hate, and I implore some of you now, post 2020, to watch it again. And it's actually a good movie. It's actually a good movie. I really like it. Do I like it because my dad is also dead? Probably. What's wrong with that? Can you just let me have something, please? This is about two brothers in a magical world, but the magical world is like our world. You know, it's full of elves and centaurs and magical creatures, but they realized that doing everything with magic was kind of inconvenient. So instead of like making light with magic, they just invented light switches. So it's our world filled with magical creatures. Our two main characters are brothers. Their dad is dead, but for one day only, they discover that they can cast a spell and bring their dad back for one day, which they obviously want to do. Things go awry. They only bring half of him back. So it's just like his feet and his pants. They have to spend the rest of the day going on this journey so that they're able to finish the spell so that they can meet their dad. Doesn't that sound so sweet? That is so sweet. It just hurts my heart that this movie gets so much hate because I think it's really good and really sweet. Anyway, next movie, Pride and Prejudice. Couldn't look away. I'd seen clips of this movie. I saw the hand clench, but I never actually watched it all the way through. It's like an old-timey love story. You know, you have to overcome pride and you have to overcome prejudice. And that's all it is to. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. One of the only movies I saw in a theater this year. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. This movie was so good. I'm literally still thinking about it. After I watched this movie, my passion for Demon Slayer was reignited, and I went back and I watched the whole series. Not before, after. I also went through a phase where I just listened to the soundtrack on repeat. It was so epic. The entrance to the Infinity Castle song, the whole sequence in general, so insane. Just thinking about it is like giving me chills because it's actually so good. The only thing about this is that I saw it with my little brother and he watches anime dubbed and I watch anime subbed. And I said, okay, well, how are we going to decide? He said, well, I'm getting the ticket, so we're going to go see it in dub. Can't argue with a free ticket. So I saw it dubbed, which was a little weird at first because obviously it's different voice actors. It's not the voices I'm used to for these characters, but I got into the groove. It was fine, and it was so good, and the animation is so good, but I need to watch it with subtitles so that I can feel like it's my characters. Again, that's something that I wanted to do, but I don't know where my brain is this year. For real. It's not in my head because there's so many things that I think about doing and I plan on doing, and then I just completely forget about them. Okay, if you remember from last year, sometimes I log limited series. This is bad. The S tier is gonna be the most full. Okay, I need to be more critical. This is just a product of my own actions. I'm telling you, I didn't try to watch new movies this year. Over the Garden Wall. S tier. Would you rather have a full S tier or a full D tier? I would rather have a full S tier. I would rather have a year full of wonderful movies that I really loved rather than a year full of movies that I didn't. Okay? Over the Garden Wall is an animated mini-series that aired on Cartoon Network. It follows two brothers, George and Wirt, as they find themselves lost in the woods and they have to journey home and they meet strange characters along the way. Great animation, great music, great story. Those are my criteria for things. Does it look good? Does it sound good? Is the story good? Yes to all three. So it's S tier. Okay, next, the holiday calendar. Solid Night In. Another Christmas movie. I watched this one for the first time this year. We follow a girl who gets gifted her grandmother's advent calendar, and it is low-key magical because every day it opens and she gets a little figurine that somehow explains something about her day. And it's a rom-com. And the advent calendar is kind of helping push her in the direction of love and happiness. Next movie, Wicked for Good. Okay, before I rank Wicked for Good, I'm going to rank the first Wicked. Last year, I put the first Wicked and changed my brain chemistry. I think this year I'm putting Wicked in Can't Look Away. And I'm putting Wicked for Good in Solid Night In. Last year, the first Wicked movie came out, and it was so amazing and so fun, and I saw it in a movie theater, and it was so great. And I listened to the soundtrack for months, and I loved it. And so there was a year in between, and then this year, Wicked for Good, which is the second part, came out. Because Wicked is a musical, and so the first movie was Act 1, and then you would have intermission. We had a year-long intermission, and then you would have Act 2. So before seeing Wicked for Good, I rewatched Wicked at home. And so that's why it's a little bit lower on this list. Probably because I was at home and it wasn't as amazing as being in a theater. It was still good. I really enjoyed Wicked, and I think the songs are really good, and I think the first movie is so strong. And then I saw For Good in theaters, and I will admit that I was a bit disappointed. Basically, if you're not a musical person, when you're watching a musical, you finish Act 1 on a big moment or a big cliffhanger, something crazy happens. Curtains close, lights come up. You have 10, 15 minutes to go to the bathroom, stand up, move around a little bit, and then you sit back down, and then you're immediately back in the world. And Act 2 is usually, continuing where we left off, wrapping up the stories that were introduced in Act 1, but all together it's one cohesive musical or a play, a one-night experience. I don't think that having a year in between is bad because, most movies have a really long time in between. For me, just the second act wasn't as interesting as the first act. There are better songs in part 1, and in part 2 there are still good songs, obviously, but it is also more of a sad second half. I don't really know how to say how I feel about it. It wasn't bad. It was a solid movie to watch. I had high expectations because of how awesome the first movie was. Everyone that I saw posting about it said that they cried so hard at Wicked for Good. The last 10 minutes I was just sobbing. You have to bring Kleenexes. And so my sister and I were both oh, I'm so nervous. I'm gonna cry so much. What could possibly happen? And then it is just what happens in the musical. I cry at everything. Either it's so sad that I cry or it's so happy that I cry. I didn't cry at this. I don't know. I need some more time to sit with my thoughts because I don't really know what I'm feeling. Guys, I'm really tired. I've been recording for an hour. Am I even halfway through? My final thoughts are that it's a good movie, but it's not as good as the first movie, and I was expecting it to be as good as the first movie, but it wasn't, and that's okay. Okay, next movie is Hunger Games. I'm gonna say Solid Night In. You might be wondering, Emma, how is that not S or A tier? If you're a Hunger Games fan, you know that the first movie adaptation wasn't great. It was fine as far as book to movie adaptations go, but it wasn't great. And I think the later ones get great. It's because they switched writers and directors. The guy who wrote and directed the first Hunger Games was not asked back for Catching Fire or Mockingjay, which are just objectively better than this first one. This first one is still good, and I think it has a really interesting style. It's very shaky, zoomed in shots, which I actually like. I just feel because I read the book It's fine. Okay, I think the only other limited series on this list is this one, Pixar's Win or Lose. This needs to go and couldn't look away. I was freaking out when I watched this because it was so good. People, I swear, need to get over their hatred of the bean mouth animation because they're missing out on some great movies and now TV shows. I love watching behind the scenes documentaries for Pixar. I feel like the teams over at Pixar are just cranking out great stories. I've tried to put myself in the mind of the people who hate on the recent Pixar releases. That's okay, that's your opinion, but my opinion is that I really like their stuff. And I always have. I'm not a Disney adult, I am a Pixar adult. I would love to visit Pixar Animation Studios. Guys, I swear, if I could draw or if I could like visualize something in my mind and then create it on a computer, I would be in animation. But I can't. So all I can do is watch and then talk to you about them. So Win or Lose is a limited series by Pixar on Disney Plus. It follows 8 main characters. They each get their own episode. They're all on a softball team. So we follow them in the days between them winning the playoff game and then their championship game. There's kind of like core events that happen during the week, and we'll see them in one character's episode through their perspective, and it looks one way. Then we'll see it later on in another episode in another character's perspective, and it's totally different. This one girl is so in her head. She has so much anxiety and she's so in her head about social interactions. She thinks they're horrible and she comes off as so weird and like no one likes her. Like that's what she's thinking. Then we see her in other people's perspectives and she's just like a chill, funny girl. And I'm like, oh my God, could that be any more real? That's just one of the 8 stories. And again, all the kids are going through something totally different, but they're very relatable struggles. Like so many people out there will be able to relate, and that is so good and important. And overall, it was just a fun show. Like I was whipping through the episodes because I wanted to know what was going to happen at the championship game. It's one of those situations where everyone is going through things and you get to the game and you're like, oh my God, well, this isn't looking good for you guys. Like, are you going to win or are you going to lose? I wouldn't say hi Jasper. I wouldn't say I have a problem with being empathetic. I think I'm too empathetic sometimes and I see where everyone is coming from a little too much. However, I think a show like this can really teach empathy in a fun way because I do think in today's world we're lacking some empathy. This show really reminds you that you have no idea what people are going through. And so it's always good to try to be there for people, try to understand. It usually has nothing to do with you and it has everything to do with them. And this show is a prime example of that. Animated kids show, it's so entertaining and fun, and just give it a shot. It's not that big of a time commitment. It's a mini limited series. Okay, next is Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Solid night in. I only watched this because I was personally boycotting the live action Lilo and Stitch, and I said to myself, you know what? Instead of watching the new Lilo and Stitch, I'm going to watch the old Lilo and Stitch to be reminded of how good it is. And it was so good. And I still to this day have not seen the live action Lilo and Stitch, and I have no interest in doing so. This movie is about a little girl named Lilo and her sister Nani. Their parents passed away, and so Nani is trying to become Lilo's primary caregiver, but I think she's like barely 18 and she's not in school. She's just working and trying to take care of her little sister. And it is actually so sad when you're like an adult watching it because I don't know that I could be taking care of a child on my own and working and grieving my parents. Like Nani is really a superhero. Lilo is very imaginative, so she gets bullied and Nani overhears her praying to a shooting star for a friend. So the next day she takes her to adopt a dog that can be her friend and companion, and she ends up choosing Stitch, who is actually not a dog, but he is an alien who has fallen to Earth and is being hunted by intergalactic forces from space. Okay, next, Hocus Pocus. This is also a solid night in. I watched this because it's Halloween and it doesn't get more Halloween than Hocus Pocus. But I also watched it because, similar to Lilo and Stitch, I was like, well, I'm not going to watch the new remake. I'm going to watch the original. And honestly, I don't even know if it was this year or last year because that is how little I cared about it. But instead of watching that, I went back and I watched the original. I watched this every Halloween because it was always on Disney Channel when I was growing up. The plot is not what I thought. It all takes place in one night. These 3 witches are hung during like the Salem witch trials time, but they cast a spell. Whenever a virgin lights a special candle in their house, they will be resurrected. And what do you know? On this Halloween night, a virgin lights a candle in their house and brings them back. But the catch is that they have to eat the soul of a child in order to like gain the strength to stay back. So they're back for one night, and if they can't eat the soul of a child, then they will disappear forever this time. When I was watching, I was super impressed by like the special effects because this is from the 90s. So when the witches are flying around on brooms and it looks really realistic, I want to know how they did that in the 90s because I don't know, but it looks really good. My problem is that this is a Disney Channel movie. I know. They had a million opportunities to eat the soul of a child. They literally had the soul of a child in a little vial to drink, but then they decide, actually, I don't want this child's soul. I want the virgin guy who lit the candle, his little sister. They want her soul just to like spite him and push the plot in a certain direction, which is fine because it's a kid's movie, and obviously as a kid I didn't notice and I really enjoyed it, but as an adult I was like, come on ladies, like this is your future on the line. Could you not drink that soul, secure your eternal youth, and then go after the virgin sister? Like, come on now. The next movie is The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. This is a solid night in. I always force my family to watch the Charlie Brown movies at their respective holidays. I will say that for some random reason, my favorite is not The Great Pumpkin. My favorite is not the Christmas movie. It is the Thanksgiving movie. I just have such a vivid memory as a kid of watching Snoopy make the toast and butter it and make all the popcorn, and it just looked so delicious. It just looked so delicious. I was like, can we forget about the turkey and mashed potatoes? I want popcorn and toast. I want popcorn and toast on Thanksgiving, please. Next movie was Elio. I'm putting this in Couldn't Look Away. I saw this in theaters. I really liked it. I thought it was so sweet. Maybe the reason that recently I've really come to love and appreciate Pixar movies is because most of the time their characters are dealing with grief. This original animated movie was also coming out at the same time the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch was, so they were in theaters at the same time, which I thought was interesting because I heard bad things about the Lilo and Stitch ending, but the Elio ending was wonderful. So we follow Elio. His parents have both just died. His aunt has taken him in, but they're trying to kind of figure out how to coexist with each other. Elio feels super unwanted, super lonely. He doesn't fit in. He gets bullied. He loves outer space. He wishes every night to be taken into space by aliens. And it's actually so sad because his whole wish is like, someone out there has to want me. Like, please, someone, if you're out there and the universe is so big, if anyone out there wants me, please give me a sign. Come get me. Oh my God, this little kid feels so alone in the world. He only has his aunt, and he feels like his aunt doesn't really like him. He feels like she has just taken him in because she has to. He's like, space is so big, the universe is huge. There has to be someone somewhere out there who wants me. That is so sad, but also like so relatable. Anyway, it actually works. He gets picked up by aliens. he tells them that he is the leader of Earth, and he gets taken into this intergalactic alliance and kind of starts a major conflict with like a war planet. A war planet filled with warring aliens. I really like this movie. I need to rewatch it. I only saw it in theaters that one time, and you guys know things can really only change my brain chemistry if I rewatch them. It's on Couldn't Look Away for now, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was so sweet, and I of course cried. Pixar movies just know how to make me cry. Personally, I was so excited that Pixar was coming out with a new animated movie because sequels and live action remakes are so prominent right now. It feels like everything is just being recycled all the time, at least in like this space of like younger animation. But honestly, I really didn't see too many people talking about it, so I have no idea how it did in the box office. I had no idea what the public reception was, but I know how I felt, and now you know how I felt too. Next movie, Enola Holmes. Guys, I'll just Couldn't Look Away. We'll do Couldn't Look Away. Guys, I love Enola Holmes. You know this. Guys, I love Enola Holmes 1 and 2, and they're coming out with a third, and I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited for it. I love these movies. I think they are so fun. It stars Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Enola Holmes, the younger sister to Sherlock Holmes, played by Henry Cavill. And also she has like a friend / love interest that's played by Louis Partridge. And Sam Claflin plays her other older brother, and Helen Bonham Carter plays their mom. Like, the cast is truly insane. It is a mystery. It is a mystery that Enola has to solve in the first and the second movies. They're so good. They're very emotional, but they're also very fun, and I love the vibes. It's set in, I don't know, Sherlock's time of like old-timey England or something. They wear like pretty dresses, cool clothes. Everyone's very proper. They take carriages to get places. I just love the vibes, and I think the movies are so fun. I can't look away because the mystery is very engaging, and there's action, and like I said, there's some romance, and it's just very sweet. And I think everyone is really great in their roles. And again, I'm so excited that they're coming out with a third movie. Like, it might be a little embarrassing, but I don't even care because of how much I'm a fan of these movies. Thank you. Okay, next movie I watched was The Lorax. Where do I put The Lorax? I'm going to put The Lorax in a solid 9 in because it's very solid. I love the story of The Lorax, and I think this is a good movie. I was feeling very sad about the state of our planet, and so I wanted to watch a movie where the lesson was like, yeah, you could literally destroy your planet, but maybe you could come back from it. You could kill all of the trees, but there could be one seed. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing will change. It just will not. Is that the quote? This money-hungry man comes into this beautiful natural oasis, extorts the animals, forces them to leave their home, cuts down all of the trees, pollutes the air and the water and the earth. He cuts down all the trees to make these needs, these sweater things that are marketed to the people of the world as being able to do anything, so everyone wants one. And he ruins the world, and there is like no breathable air, so then in the future they have synthetic trees and bottled air, and you're thinking, oh my god, that's crazy. But is it crazy? Is it crazy, or is it on the horizon? I don't know. But then there is a young boy who wants to learn the history of the world and what the world used to be and figure out a way to bring back the trees and save the world. Next is Howl's Moving Castle, another Studio Ghibli movie. S tier, duh. I probably watched this so many times this year. Just like Spirited Away. Great animation, great music, great story. This is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. It is more of a love story. There's romantic love, but there's familial love, and it's found family, and it's very sweet. We follow our main character, Sophie, who is kind of a timid girl. She works in a hat shop. She doesn't think she's very pretty, and she doesn't really have any dreams for her life. Oh my god, wait. That's the first time I've described Sophie, and I'm actually just describing myself. That's crazy. No wonder I like this movie so much. Anyway, she gets whisked away. Well, before she gets whisked away by a handsome wizard named Hal to live in his amazing magical castle with his apprentice and his talking fireplace, she gets cursed to look like an old lady. So what a beautiful love story when he falls in love with her for her. But he also thinks she's beautiful. And it's just so good. Okay, next movie, K-pop Demon Hunters. I couldn't look away, but I think this changed some people's brain chemistry for real. If you can't tell, I'm really into animation right now, and I also really like K-pop, and I also really like Demon Hunters, and so I felt like this movie would be right up my alley. So I watched it when it first came out, and it was right up my alley. The animation's great, the songs are great, the story's great, and I recommended it in my monthly wrap-up, but I didn't think that people were really gonna watch it because, at least as far as theatrical releases go, people haven't really been supporting new original movies, especially if they're animated and for kids and musicals. I thought people would be put off by the fact that it is K-pop because people are crazy like that. I was so wrong. This became probably the biggest movie of the year. Did it not? The songs are still charting, and this came out 6 months ago. I liked the songs because the songs are like genuine K-pop songs. They have Korean lines and they just have a very K-pop vibe. The world craves K-pop. They had a performance at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and the singers for the 3 main characters of the girls have been performing Golden everywhere, and I'm so happy for them. I actually teared up watching their Macy's parade performance because I was just thinking about how much of a dream that has to be. You get hired for this movie. You're not even the voice actors. You're just doing the songs. When have the singing voices for an animated kids movie ever become this popular to where they are giving live performances as a group themselves? Never. And I'm just so happy for them, and I think it's so great. And I think it's great. This movie has a great message. My mom went to church, and she said that the priest said that his favorite movie of the year was K-pop Demon Hunters. He was telling everyone to watch it because it had a really great message about how you can choose to be good. Everyone is loving K-pop Demon Hunters. It was a great movie, and I liked it. I just didn't think anyone else was gonna like it. But that's awesome. K-pop Demon Hunters. Okay, another Studio Ghibli movie, Kiki's Delivery Service. This one's great. Kiki is a young witch who has to fly away from home and train to be a witch in a new place for a year. And she chooses a beautiful seaside city and she makes friends. And there are struggles, but there's also some beautiful friendship. And it's just very fun. And she also has a black cat. Coincidence? Okay, next movie, Practical Magic. I'm gonna put Practical Magic in a solid 9 in. I think it's really good for the fall for the spooky witchy vibes, but also for the spring for the cottagecore vibes. We follow 2 sisters who are witches. One of the sisters' boyfriends is abusive. She's trying to leave him. They accidentally kill him. And then the whole movie is them trying to cover up the murder, which is not what I was expecting going in. I thought it was going to be more of a cozy, magical, whimsical movie, and it's more of a dark, covering up a murder kind of movie. But there's also love and, family bonds and accepting yourself. A movie that I forgot to put on this list last year, but I did not make the same mistake again this year. Luca. S tier, changed my brain chemistry. I love Luca so much. This is what I'm talking about when I say that people who are just turned off to the bean mouth animation, they're missing the most amazing new stories. Okay? Am I the only one who likes this animation? I think it's cute. I think the people look cute, and I think The settings look really good and detailed. Some of it takes place underwater. So beautiful. I love the vibes. I love the vibes. I watch this movie all the time in the spring and summer, but also this year I found myself whenever I was really sad, I would put on Luca because it would make me feel happy. So we follow our main character, Luca, who is a sea monster. He really wants to go onto land and become human and see how the humans live. Well, he becomes friends with a boy named Alberto who does live half in the water, half on land. They go on land together. His parents find out he gets in trouble. He runs away from home, and then they go into a town and they enter an Italian triathlon competition with their new friend Julia so that they can win the prize money, get a Vespa, and get out of here. All while hiding the fact that they're sea monsters and hiding from Luca's parents who came on land to find him. I love the friendship of everyone. I love the music. The music is playing in my head right now and I'm loving it. This little seaside fishing town is so beautiful. The music is so atmospheric and beautiful, and the story is so sweet and beautiful. I've said it before, beautiful friendships and beautiful, possibly maybe more than friendships. I don't know. I can't believe that people out there have never seen this. I remember watching it when it came out on Disney Plus for the first time and crying. And I cry every time I watch it. And I won't say why, but I need to watch that and Elio. And I love this vibe of Pixar movies. Sue me. Okay, I'm sorry, but I love this vibe of Pixar movies. Do you see any other Pixar movies on the list? You don't see Toy Story up here? No, we're entering a new age, okay? Next movie, The Secret of Moonacre. This changed my brain chemistry. In the spring, my motivation for living became escaping into a fairy tale world in my day-to-day life. I was very into whimsical fantasy, and this movie was a huge part of that. This movie really set the tone. We follow a girl whose parents are dead and she goes to live with her uncle in his castle. This is also kind of in the olden days where they're all wearing beautiful dresses. I love it. She goes to live with him in his castle at his estate called Moonacre, and things are not as they seem. She has this book that is telling a story that she thinks might be affecting her life today and kind of uncovering a mystery of her family's history. That's all I'm gonna say. I like it because of the settings. I think it came out in the early 2000s, so it's mostly practical effects, but there are a couple things that are CGI'd, which I like. I like that way more than a full CGI set, obviously. Okay, next movie, Fear Street Prom Queen. This is going into background noise. This isn't a bad movie. I just really like the original Fear Street trilogies, and this takes place in the same world, but it's kind of its own separate movie. Basically, we're in the Fear Street world. We're in Shadyside. Prom is coming up, and all of the prom queen candidates start dying. I didn't love this. Was very graphic. Which is totally fine considering it's a horror movie, but I didn't like it. And also I went in with the excitement and the expectation that it was going to be, spoiler alert, the curse from the original Fear Street movies that possess someone to go crazy and kill a bunch of people. It wasn't. It was just regular people. And part of me feels good for them for subverting my expectations, but the other part is I don't like that and I wanted it to be the curse. And so since it wasn't the curse, it's going into background noise. Okay, next movie, Life of the Party. Honestly, I kind of want to put this in background noise too. It was fine while I was watching it. I watched this because I was doing a Lego set with my sister that I had given her for her birthday, and she wanted to put on a comedy movie. I was expecting it to be really bad, and it wasn't really bad. I just wouldn't probably ever put it on again. Stars Melissa McCarthy, and she gets divorced from her husband, and so then she ends up going back to school with her daughter who's a senior in college, and she becomes the life of the party. Yeah, not bad, but not really my cup of tea. All right, next movie, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the first one. Okay, I want to like this so bad, but it's just gonna have to go in a solid night in. Like, I'm just not there yet. I think, okay, this is the second or third time that I've watched the first Lord of the Rings movie. I think I need to graduate and watch the other Lord of the Rings movies and then kind of look at it as a whole series, because I keep watching this one and waiting for it to be like, oh my god, this is amazing, because everyone loves it so much. And I like fantasy. I want to like Lord of the Rings, but it just hasn't really done anything for me anytime I've watched it. Like, it's been fine. It's been a solid movie. I've watched the extended edition both times, I think, but I just feel like for how hyped it is, there should be more. But maybe the more comes in the later movies. So I'm gonna try to continue on with Lord of the Rings. Next movie, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Honestly, this one is gonna go in couldn't look away. I kind of talked about watching the first Harry Potter and this Harry Potter. I watched these two so much over like the last 2 months. I do like the first one more. I just think the vibes of the first one are so special because the whole world is new to us and it's being introduced to us. In the second movie, things are still very lighthearted and fun, but things are also getting kicked up a little bit, and I hate Gilderoy Lockhart. But I do like getting to see the Weasleys and their family dynamic and seeing Harry and Ron solve the case. The first movie to go into I Want My Memory Wiped, the live action Snow White. I also did a reaction video to this movie. It was so much worse than I was expecting. I really thought that I was gonna like it. I thought that it would at least be in like solid night in, because truly, like I said, I'm a vibe watcher. So if your plot is good and the songs are good and it looks good, I'm probably gonna have a good time. This movie was so bad. Everything is CGI'd, and something that I don't understand, if you're gonna make a live action, the whole point is to see what this artistic animated world would look like in real life. So if you just CGI everything, that's literally still animation. It's just realistic animation. It bugs me so much because other Snow White remakes actually have real sets and the world feels more real, and I'm sure some of these sets were real, but I just feel like it looks so digital and CGI. Like, I do not like the way that it looks. I didn't like the songs. Even though I don't want more live action remakes, I thought that this one would still be enjoyable. Like, when I saw The Little Mermaid in theaters, and that was enjoyable, I don't have any desire to like rewatch it, but it was enjoyable while I was watching it. And same with the live action Beauty and the Beast. Live action Cinderella is actually good because majority of things are real and it's not CGI'd. This just didn't feel real. If you want to hear me talk about it for like 40 minutes, you can watch the reaction, but honestly, like, if you don't, I'm not gonna blame you because I won't ever go back and rewatch that video again either. Made me feel physically ill while I was watching it and while I was editing my video of me watching it. Okay, next movie, Mickey 17. Couldn't look away. This is probably like the coolest movie that I watched this year. Mickey is on Earth, and Earth is not a place he wants to be because he owes someone money. So he wants to get off Earth and into space. In order to get a spot on the spacecraft, he agrees to basically be like a disposable person. They clone him and they will send him off to different planets or put him in different situations to see if he can survive, basically. And if he dies, no worries, they just like print out a new clone of him. So, you know, if they're like testing a new medicine or something, they'll test it on him. And if he dies from having a reaction, no worries, they just print a new one and they try again. We meet the 17th Mickey. He goes out on a mission. They leave him for dead, but unfortunately he actually doesn't die and he finds his way back to the spacecraft. But extra unfortunately, they've already 3D printed another one of him, and also all of his personalities are different. So the two Mickeys have to hide each other because that's totally against the rules for there to be multiple of you. And also, just things are bad in this world, and yeah, but it's a really good movie. And I'm gonna be so honest, I love when a story is man versus nature, because every single time man is wrong, and like this time man was wrong, and I love seeing man get punished and nature surviving. Oh my gosh, speaking of that, Princess Mononoke, S tier. I love this movie as well. I probably listen to the song The Legend of Ashitaka once a week. I love that song so much. It's so beautiful. This is another Studio Ghibli movie, so you know it's just all around good. But this is also man versus nature and man versus man. There's kind of a lot going on. We follow Ashitaka as he is exiled from his village because he was attacked by a demon, journeys to find the source of this iron ball that was lodged inside the demon boar that attacked him, and see if he can find a cure, but also just like see what's going on, because that's crazy. There's not a clear line of good and evil in this movie because you kind of understand where everyone is coming from. There are people who are fighting against nature because they're just trying to make a living for themselves and survive in the world, but they're hurting nature, and so then nature is fighting against the people because nature is just trying to survive in this world, and the people are killing nature, and it's just kind of back and forth. And so we follow Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke as we are on different sides of this conflict. I don't know if that's a good way to describe this movie, but you should probably just watch it. Okay, our last 3 movies, guys. Okay, this one is very similar to Princess Mononoke. If you like Princess Mononoke, you should watch Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. I'm putting this in Couldn't Look Away, though. It's not one of the Studio Ghibli movies I'm like obsessed with and I'm always rewatching, but I do usually rewatch this one at least once or twice a year because it is really so good. And again, it's like that man versus nature. If everyone's just trying to survive, who is really in the right and who's really in the wrong, and can we coexist? This is almost in like a steampunk world. It is a world that has been wiped out by this deadly forest and these deadly spores. The forest is growing and taking over the world where there are kingdoms and villages. I think the setup is that humans used to live on the earth, destroyed it, polluted it. The forest became toxic, and now the forest is like taking over humanity. So there are like ruins everywhere, and they have technology, but it is like futuristic, like airships and air gliders, and it's very cool. It's very atmospheric, and I really like the world. I really like this movie. Okay, next movie is Fear Street 1978. I think this is gonna go in, I don't know, should it go up a level? I'll just leave it here for now, okay? This is the second movie in the Fear Street trilogy. I feel like I've talked about them a lot on here, but they're Netflix original horror movies. All 3 movies kind of connect, but this one specifically is mainly set in the past, 1978. We're at a summer camp, and basically this camper goes crazy and starts killing other campers, and we are just wondering if our characters are going to make it out alive. That's all I'm going to tell you, because otherwise it's going to spoil the first movie for you. Sorry, I was recording for so long, my SD card filled up for the first time ever. This one is my favorite, though, because I love the camp vibes, and I love the cast in it. Sadie Sink is one of the main girls, and then the girl that plays her sister is in the live action One Piece on Netflix, and I think they're both so good in this. Okay, and our final movie of the year, not counting all of the ones that I apparently forgot to put on this list again, The Florida Project. I'm putting The Florida Project in Can't Look Away. I really like The Florida Project. This is quite a sad movie, and it's kind of just like bad things happening, and it's also realistic. It is like the reality for so many people. It looks so good. And it's also told through the perspective of our main character, Mooney, who's like a 6-year-old girl. So we as the viewer understand the bad things that are happening, but she as a little kid doesn't really, and she's just trying to like live her life in this motel that is next to the Magic Kingdom. It's such like a unique way to tell this kind of story, I feel like. I really like it. I can't rewatch it often because it does make me so sad, and it leaves me feeling like melancholy after I watch it, which I get enough of in my regular life. So as you can tell, I usually try to keep the vibes up with the content I'm consuming. No denying that this is a really solid film you can't look away from. Okay, guys, that is my whole list. It's kind of small, and it's definitely very, very concentrated in the top 3 tiers, which again isn't a bad thing. I tend to not watch things that I think I'm not gonna like, because why would I do that? And I'm usually right. I watch enough movies and TV to know what I like and what I don't like, but maybe in this next year, I should try to branch out more. I definitely need to try to see new movies, because the new movies that I saw, I did really like. I really liked Elio, and I loved the Demon Slayer movie. And Mickey 17, I liked. K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, I definitely watched new movies this year, but I didn't necessarily watch new releases. A lot of these movies were new to me, but I definitely think in the upcoming year, should prioritize seeing new releases in theaters. There was just a chunk of time there where movies were not good. So I think I kind of put off seeing new things in theaters. But I feel like 2025 was a good year for movies. There were so many new releases that I really wanted to see, but I just never got around to it. Like Sinners, I really wanted to see Sinners, but also in my defense, I can't do horror movies, and that looks like a really horror, scary movie. I definitely can't do it in like a pitch black theater, but I could have done it on streaming, and I just never got around to it. There were so many things I wanted to watch once they came out on streaming, and I never did. So next year when there's a movie out, I just need to see it. Otherwise I'm gonna forget, I guess. I feel like I was really into TV shows this year, and if I watched a movie, I just threw on a comfort movie that I've already seen a million times. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I was gathering my data to create this tier list, I was kind of disappointed in myself because there's not a ton of new movies on here. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. I've been recording for like 3 hours and my throat hurts. I need to be more concise when I'm talking about things, I think. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I hope you have a good New Year's, and I will see you guys in the next video.